Oh. All right, we're going to keep you guys awake. If we start falling asleep, we'll get up. Don't worry. I know for you introverts, you're freaking out. I am a crazy, ambitious introvert, so I've got your back. I won't do any like weird chest bumps or anything like that, so you don't have to worry. So first thing is Ariana putting this together. If any of you have put on even smaller events, you know it is hard. Doing a generic event is 10 times harder. And then all the speakers that were willing to come here and put in their time. I could spend a couple hours just going over their presentations and the things I kept putting in my notes because I use Evernote. And I kept putting things in my notes, thoughts and ideas and inspiration that came. And then Tracy mentioned it briefly, so I have to say it because a lot of you know, but a bunch of you I do not know. She mentioned real quick SBS, and you guys are like, what the heck is that? I was self-diagnosed, because there wasn't a term, so sometimes you have to create it, with SBS. And some of you understand and feel me and understand what that means, but that's skinny butt syndrome. So I get on the plane, literally, and when I get on the plane, it's 20 minutes later, and all of a sudden, there's just this pain. And my butt, like my circulation's gone, and it starts hurting. And the worst part is, those of you that are blessed, that have cushion on your butt, there's always that guy or gal that kind of looks at me like they're floating in first class, even if they're not in first class, because they have so much cushion, they're just kind of like this. I see you. So those of you that are blessed, hashtag seriously so blessed, I feel you. But I have to have one of those cushions I pack in my backpack that's like this thick, and my wife's embarrassed, pretends like she doesn't know me. So that's what I have to go through. Each one of us is different. We're going to go through some real trials, and I'm going to go through some very personal trials. I'm going to go through this stuff as quickly as I can, but make sure I'm thorough for you so that you can take notes, so you can learn. We can all learn from each other. But the question I want to ask you is, are you a victim? Are you a survivor? Or are you a conqueror? Now, we can be different versions of this in different aspects of our lives. It could be in your business, you're a victim. It could be as a father or a mother, you're a conqueror. It could be in another aspect of your life, you're a survivor. It could be you're going back and forth. So I'm going to share a little bit of my background that I only share when I do speeches in person like this. I don't share them on Facebook Lives or anything like that. So we'll go some of this. So you can see this picture a little bit right here. This is beginnings. So a couple things you'll notice is I'm in this picture almost 14. My brother's 12, my sister's 10, and my littlest brother is 8. My mom and dad, you got my grandma, I think she's 92 or 93 now. She's still alive. And this is at a tennis tournament. Tennis was a big passion. So I'm the guy that's in the black hat, and I'm the oldest. So now look back. I'm 14. Look at my brother who's 12, right? Almost 12. My sister. That is flat out embarrassing. She's 9 years old. She's taller than me. So if you're wondering why I'm not smiling, there's a huge reason. And actually, the truth be told is for me, I just always kind of went like this, like a little smirk, didn't smile, never had braces. I got Invisalign right now, which that's a theme. James has got Invisalign. Tim's got Invisalign. We got the Invisalign buddies going, right? Back to back to back, so I feel a little more comfortable, a little bit less insecure, but I did have to take the band out, because that's a little awkward if you have the rubber band kind of going there. Didn't want to distract you guys too much there. But I want to give this perspective is because I was the little guy. When I say I was the little guy, I was the most shy, quiet, and those of you that talk to me outside of speaking here, half the time you can't hear what I'm saying. I'm not shy anymore. I'm a crazy, ambitious introvert. I'm insanely competitive. I'm the guy that if I lose in a board game, I go study on Google for an hour and take notes and don't tell anybody. But silently, I'm like, I'm taking you down, right? But I don't say anything. That's just a little bit. I just want to give you perspective. I refused to speak in church till I was 19 years old. Our church leader kept coming by and begging me, and it was taboo to say no. And I said, you could call me up from the pulpit and I will walk out. That's how scared I was. I played baseball. My dad literally threatened to ground me if I wouldn't swing the baseball bat because I just wouldn't swing it. That's how scared I was. I was like crying, no, Dad, I'm not swinging. He's like, you're grounded if you don't swing it. Thank goodness he did. I swung the bat. Not much happened, but no miraculous story. Sorry about that. But I swung the bat as we went. So I refused as I was little. My younger brother had to come with me no matter whose house I went to go visit. So that's just giving you a little bit of perspective. I want you to think about this. I love how Ben talked about it earlier. Everyone was just sharing what they were grateful for. All of you, I want you just really quick in your minds. You're not going to share with anybody for sake of time. I want you to go in your mind the most dramatic moment you've had in your entire life, whatever it is. It could be anything dramatic. It could be a dramatic event. I've heard all types of crazy dramatic moments. Everybody's had that in their life. Think about when it happened, how it happens, what you've learned from it. Now, I'm going to share with you a little bit of the most dramatic moment that happened in my life. And again, this is not something I share on a Facebook Live. This is only something I'll share if I'm in person. But this moment happened to me in 1997. I was 16 years old. My dad, you just saw my siblings right there. My dad had made the drive from Utah to California, about 10 hours, give or take. Came all the way back, was extremely exhausted. And as he gets back, he's like, okay, we're going to leave tonight. And we're going to drive to California because you kids have a tennis tournament. We're all crazy into tennis. So we're all excited. It's Valentine's Day, 1997. My mom's going to stay home. She's going to take care of their business. So we get in a, literally, this is the exact style van. And this van had 0 seats in the back. So just imagine, I know, not a good idea. No seats at all in the back. So half of it, the back half is just filled with boxes because they had an embroidery business. So they had all these clothing and stuff stacked up. Then the other half right here, you've got sleeping bag with my sister, right? At this time, she's 12 years old. You have my brother who's 14. You have myself, I'm 16 years old. And you have my littlest brother, he's about 10. He's right here in the front seat. My dad's driving. He drives, he gets past Vegas, about to Vegas, and then he asks me, he says, hey son, do you want to drive? Now, I'm thinking at this time, it's late, it's just past midnight. Dad, I'm tired, I got a tennis tournament in the morning. Now, of course, when you're 16 years old, what are you thinking about? Yourself, right? I'm not thinking, well, my dad's exhausted because my dad just made this drive. Now he's making the sacrifice to take us all to this tennis tournament. So I'm like, Dad, I'm tired. Okay, son. He's like, you just sleep up. Be ready for tomorrow. Fall asleep. And then about an hour later, he says to my littlest brother, Danny, he says, why don't you take your seatbelt off, lay in between the 2 seats right here, get a good night's sleep. So my littlest brother's there. We're all dead asleep. And my dad knows this drive as well as anyone. So he misses the rest stop. And he thinks, well, there's another one in about a half an hour. He gets to about Barstow, cannot physically stay awake. So as he's driving, you hear this. You're going off the road. And he swerves because he's startled back the other way. And now you hear it again. And of course, we wake up real quickly, like, what's going on? Everything happened like this. And he swerves again to get back on the road. And the car rolls, and it 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 rolls. They estimated it rolled about 11 times. And I remember when it happened, I thought, instantly, it was just like, what's going on? You can't even really think, like, is this the end? What's going on? It's just so much pain so quick. And the car lands on its side. And when this happened, my dad says, is everyone okay? Yeah, Dad, I'm here. Mike, are you okay? Yeah, I'm here. Tiff. Yeah, my back, I can't move, Dad, but I'm okay. Danny, where's Danny? So we sift through the sleeping bags, we can't hear anything. And my dad kicks the windshield open, and he says, Danny's out here. And he said, but I think he's okay. So, of course, I'm not thinking anything at that moment. So we walk out, and I see Danny, and he's literally laying like an angel, eyes open, just looking up to the heavens. Someone had seen the accident, stopped in a motorhome, an RV. We go in there. I don't even know how long it was. I don't know if it was a minute later, 30 minutes later. Everything was just such a blur. It happened so quickly. My dad comes in just sobbing. He's just sobbing. He's just got snot coming down, and I still remember it. And he says, I killed Danny. And I remember when that happened, it was all of that hatred, all of that dislike, all of that anything. And I wasn't a hateful person, but it gave me perspective on life. It gave me perspective on how short this life is. And of course, the immediate thought I had was, I could have drove, right? And I know, trust me, I know, right? It's hindsight. Intent wasn't bad. I know. But I thought that initially. And what scares me the most is that story right there. At the beginning, I had a victim mentality right away when it happened. And then I thought, you know what? This is going to give me perspective on life. And everything I did from that point on gave me so much more perspective on how I treated people, on how I tried to truly judge people for their intent rather than their actions, because I don't know what they're going through. I promise, if we all sat down right now, I promise you, every single one of you would be bawling, sharing what you've been through. Every single one of you. Every single one of you has been through something in your life. So you know what scares me the most now? Is the fact that I know it's possible, and then that was the greatest experience that happened in my life. That freaks me out because it helped me. It helped me to become a better person. And I think about it every day with my kids and my wife, not in some sick, weird way, in a way that gives me perspective. And I want to help give you that perspective for your business, because you've got to ask yourself that. You got to go through it, and you see, and this is Danny right here. He looks a lot like my two sons, actually, especially my youngest right now. It's fun. I always see that in them. I don't like crying, so I'm going to move on. Just got something in my eye. It's not a big deal. So I want you to ask yourself, are you a victim? Are you a survivor? Are you a conqueror? Because you've got a choice to make. Every single one of you. And I will tell you this, that the vast majority of you, this is some tough love. Hopefully I can convey my intent. The vast majority of you in this room are survivors in network marketing. If we're talking about network marketing, not life. And the reason why I say that is because the vast majority are willing to just keep showing up. And that's great. That's the first level of resistance. But you are not going to be successful from just showing up. Now, it starts with that. Just don't quit. Just that starts there. But at some point, you got to be so sick and tired of being sick and tired that you take the necessary action, the massive action. At some point, you got to have the perspective of what this life is. You got to have the long-term perspective, but you still got to have that short-term urgency. So this is, what happens in life, right? A lot of times, it's like the kid right here. I got a plan for your life, what it feels like. Holy Spirit right there laughing, whatever you believe in, right? And then there's you right there hanging on for dear life, like, what's going on? Are you sure this is the plan? So I want to transition into another way to look at these three different groups of people. They all go together. There are needers, there are wanters, and there are deservers. Okay, heard it. Goes with tugboat, lighthouse. The needers, I need your time so bad. I need this opportunity so bad. I need to get my spouse out of their job. I need to make this money for my kids. I need this for this humanitarian trips that I have. I want this. You don't understand. I want this so bad. I want this. I'm going to be here 3 years from now because I just want this more than anybody you've ever met. World doesn't care. It's a start. But you want to be more successful, you got to, number one, become a deserver. And number 2, spend your time with the deservers. See, we hear the 80-20 rule. Spend 80% of your time with the 20%ers. But the vast majority of us don't even know how to do that or what to spend our time on. So I'll go through some income-producing activities for you in a second. But most of us, and again, this is tough love, it's fake work. My firm belief is most network marketers work 10 days a month. You're like, what do you mean? 10 days a month. The last 5 days of the month, and then the momentum carries to the next 5, right? So they work 10 days a month, and then the rest is on the training for the training of the training, and texting out your friend or voice message, hey girl, anything you need, I'm here for ya. Did you watch that live today? It's so good, right? So we know it. We're like laughing like, hopefully it's not just me. It's all of us, okay? It's even a lot of the leaders, they just do it, they stay in the income producing activities more. So I want to give you some perspective on how to stay in it. I mean, some of us are those people, right? It's like, you asked, I told you, and then what happens? You did the complete opposite. You asshole. They're like, did you say that wrong? No, I said it right. I still love you. We're used to trading time for money. In a job, I work X amount of hours and I get paid X amount. So what do? We go do the fake work. Oh, I worked so hard today. I worked 7 hours today. Oh, what did you do? Well, I watched 6 Facebook Lives. 6. After that, I did 2 hours of personal development. Yeah, got it going on. Then I did an extra bonus half an hour on personal development. I watched a couple trainings on the comp plan. Did you know there's 62.7 ways we get paid? Didn't even know that. It's just blowing my mind, right? Did you know that our products actually have 7 ingredients most people don't use? I worked so hard today. How many new people did you talk to? Oh, that's tomorrow, right? It's the awkward laugh because we're all kind of like, we've been there. Trust me. I was the top recruiter out of 1 million distributors over the course of 3 years, and I did it. So I'm calling myself out. Like, I did it. We all do it. It's just, can you do it less as you go? That's it. So we'll go through some of these things real quickly. I got so much content I want to get through to help you guys out. But I think it's a huge insecurity we have is just not knowing when. If I were to tell you it's going to happen 5 years from now, you'd be so bothered and mad, but you'd be okay with it because what else could you do 5 years from now? You never have to work another day in your life. Now, I'm not making guarantees, and some of you have different goals. Maybe it's $500 or $1,000 a month, whatever it is. Residual income is hard to come by. But when we don't know, we start freaking out. Like, is it going to happen? Is what I'm doing is wrong? So this is also true, unfortunately, right? And we know what some of the common sense stuff is, and I'm going to give you more. But I was going to mention certain countries that I spoke in last year, and I had to breathe out of my mouth for an entire day. Because incredible people, just different cultures, right? That's it. So the IPAs, income-producing activities. We'll go through this quickly. Number 1, tier 1. Talking to new people is working this business. If you're not talking to new people, you're not working this business. I don't care what else you're doing. You're making the plan for the plan of the plan of the plan of the plan of the plan, and you wonder why you aren't successful. The highest income individuals, successful people, they just do this stuff more. The other people are going to do tier 2 and tier 3, which are also important, but this is vital. Okay? So talking to brand new people. What does that mean? Asking new people to take a look at your business. Asking new people to look at your products. Tracking. If it's important, you track it. You measure it. Number 2, third-party validations. I don't care what that is. Zoom, 3-way call, 3-way chats with Messenger, at a meeting, whatever. Whatever your system is. Add to your lead list. You don't have new people to talk to if you're not adding to your lead list. So how are you adding to your lead list? Are you finding Facebook groups, common interest groups? What are you doing to add to your lead list? Tier 2. Tier 2 is absolutely important, don't get me wrong. But tier 1 is vital. Reach out to team members. This is what we like to do. We get in management mode. Again, what I said earlier. Hey, Susie, how can I help you, right? And you do it over and over and over and over, and you wonder why, Rob, my business isn't happening. Nurture current leads and relationships, right? What are you doing? Now, when I say nurture, some people misinterpret that, and a year later, they're like, oh, I've been nurturing so well. I'm like, no, that's like the dude that wants to date a girl, and so he makes best friends with her for 2 years, and then he's in the friend zone and can't ask her out. Like, don't be that person. I could spend a whole hour just on that, training those things. Tier 3, team trainings. Again, these are important. But guess what the best training is? Talking to brand new people. How to get better, inviting, following up, closing, presenting, because I actually did the deal. Personal development. I'm the guy who's read/listened to over 800 books the last 11 years. So yes, it's important to me. But again, it's not tier 1. See, I learned and then took action, action, action. Learn, action, action, action. Too many people are learn, 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 and they become the person that knows everything that does nothing. Don't become the broke know-it-all. If you know everything and do nothing, you know nothing. Okay? Are we clear? Study anything relevant to your company. So the best analogy I can give for you is tier 1's the fire. And too many of you are taking this fuel and you're pouring it. And you're pouring it, and you're pouring it because you're stuck in tier 2 and tier 3, and you're looking down, and you're pouring fuel on dirt. And you wonder why you don't have a fire or a bonfire, because you are stuck in the lower income producing activities, because it's the path of least resistance. It's so much easier to tell everyone else what to do. When you hear these cliches like speed of the leader, speed of the pack, do you know why they're called cliches? Because they're timeless principles. Think about that. They're timeless principles. So another thought I want you to think about. Billionaires don't work harder than millionaires. Millionaires don't work harder than six-figure earners. A lot of six-figure earners don't work harder than people that make minimum wage. So it comes back to these IPAs, but a lot of us don't know how to break those down and what those are and how those are tiered and how those are associated in our business. So for me, my first December I worked 80 hours a week. I didn't watch any TV. I was, the whole time I was like avoiding everything except for work, but I did fake work. So I made less than $400 for the month because that's all I was doing was the fake work. I was stuck in tier 2, in tier 3. I was in management mode and I had to go back to the highest income producing activity. Nowadays, it's great, right? Like the old school phone booths, a little bit harder. Now you can just make money on the toilet, and huge tip, right? As soon as you start losing circulation, it's time to get up, okay? That's when it's time to get up for all of you. So I want all of you to get to the point where you're mad in a good way, not mad in a whiny victim way. You're pissed off mad because you know you deserve it, because you put in the time, because we hear that you can't exceed the level of your personal development. That's actually not true. I know that people say that all the time, and I'm sorry if leaders disagree with me. That's okay. You can come up after and say I disagree. That's not true. I've seen so many people find other people that are incredible, right? But that's disempowering as well, because rather than trying to become the person, they find the person. But I will tell you that you will make the level of your personal development as long as you put in the right action. But it doesn't happen overnight. It's not like, I'm a super galactic, triple star diamond executive in my personal development. Where's my check? I looked in my bank statement, it's not there. Upline leader, compensation always catches up to skill set and effort, but it's almost always massively delayed. The test before the testimony, right? The struggle before the success story. It's not like, oh, I arrived. So it will catch up, but it's almost always massively delayed as you all go and do this. So I want to be able to go to the next one for all of you to be able to understand. I know we've gone through a bunch of this stuff, but your why, your vision, has got to become stronger than your mood swings. And some of you, I'm not going to call out names on stage, some of you, those mood swings, right? You're all over the place. You're all over the place. And we heard about it. Was it Angela that said emotional intelligence? I think so, yeah. I love that because having that emotional fortitude, that grit, there are a lot of studies that say grit is the most important thing. I'll take tough over good any day. Because good has a bad day, bad week, bad month, bad whatever. Their egos can't handle it. Ego stands for everyone's got one, right? Edging God out. Your ego ain't your amigo. It's probably like 10 more, whatever. Teach them to me. I'll use them. I'll give you credit the first 3 times, and then I'll go with it. That's the rule of thumb, just so you guys know in network marketing. You give credit 3 times, and then you just forget who said it. You just go with it, right? But it's got to be strong. You got to have that vision as you're going and stop having excuse-itis, right? It's like, oh, my area, or my products are too expensive, or my upline, or you know what? There's a problem, and everywhere I go, there's a different problem. But there's also a different solution. And a lot of the solutions are also the same principles. So is your brain fixated and focused on working against you or for you? Is your brain fixated and focused on the problem, because it will be amplified, or is it focused on the solution? Okay? Here's a test. Those of you that have been to the mastermind or are in DIG-2019, my group, what do I say anytime a problem comes to your mind? 3 solutions. Okay? Got a couple, no one else is paying attention, that's okay. That's why you keep saying the same things, right? 3 solutions. You want to get your brain trained and retrained to work for you? Anytime you think of anything negative at all, I want you to write down 3 solutions. Put it in your journal, put it in your phone, cite it outside, and then all of a sudden you're going to start getting your brain to work for you. Because it's so powerful, and it will make a huge difference. So now I look at it for me, my goal is to die with memories, not with dreams. And for me, this is the stuff I get emotional about. We do, when our kids turn 12, they go with the opposite gender parent on a trip. So I did this earlier this year with my daughter. My wife did it with my son 2 years ago when he was 12. And I didn't do any Facebook Lives. I didn't do any work, nothing, like 0 work. She was it. And then when they're 16, they can go anywhere they want in the world with the same gender parent. I mean, you talk about dying with memories, not with dreams. This is what it's about. This is the deep stuff. This is the fun stuff. This is the stuff that matters. This is the stuff that gives you vision and purpose. And a lot of you have that vision. Good leaders have vision. But the difference between good leaders and great leaders is great leaders know how to give vision. Stephen Covey says his definition of leadership is communicating to one their worth and potential so well, they see it in themselves. So a couple other pictures right there. That's with my wife when he was 12. Does your why match your actions? You tell me how big your why is, right? Are you a needer, wanter, or deserver? As you go. So this is what I wrote in my phone right when I started. And literally, this is minutes after, and I didn't show it to my wife until 8 years later to give you perspective of how, introverted I am, and I was just keeping it private. I've never tried to go out and do something completely different because I'm always scared of failing. I will go forward no matter what. When I get rejected, I will just become more determined. This is my breaking opportunity. I deserve this right now. And I read that bad boy 10 times a day when I started. I kept reading over and over and over and over because I needed it, because I was just so scared. Fear of success, fear of failure, fear of judgment, what other people thought of me. It was so scary to me. I didn't feel comfortable speaking on stages, even when I had made millions of dollars for 7 or 8 years. So stop comparing your chapter 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 to someone else's chapter 20 or 30 or 40 or whatever it is, because so many of us do that. And we just think, oh yeah, like you can't. Look, I wouldn't even speak in church. I wouldn't even go to my friend's house. Whose dad has to threaten them? I don't even swing the baseball bat, right? But that's why I'm feel so empowered when I say I know you can do this, and you're like, well, you don't know me. You know what? I tell you, last year I spoke in 9 countries. Somebody with 10 times less than you in a company 10 times worse than you has done 10 times more than you. I'm just telling you. So what's your excuse? Are you going to be a victim survivor? Are you going to be a conqueror? Are you going to walk out and say, I'm so sick and tired of just thinking about it? That you're actually going to take action from all the incredible presenters and take stuff. Don't just walk away and say, that was good. What are you going to do? Start out with one thing, and then have your executables, and say, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You move on to the next and the next and the next as you go. But don't let your paycheck define you. Too many of you let your paycheck define your self-worth. You let it define your self-worth on how good you are, how worthy you are or aren't as you're going. And that's what makes it, very difficult. So what would you do if you couldn't fail? What would you do? What would that attitude be for you? Act like the $1 million version of you. Not fake it until you make it. No. How would you talk? What would your posture be? What would your body language? We learned all about body language today. You don't need to be like, oh, well, I'm going to be like this, because I haven't made a lot of money yet, right? As you're going. And I hope you guys have noticed a couple times I've purposely kind of gone like this. Give you a little. Hopefully, a couple of you, right? Subconsciously, I was trying to a little bit. But I love that. I love the body language because it's so important. All of these things are. So I'm going to go through this because I want to give you a social media presentation real quick. But this is the stuff that just motivates me. I know we love social media. I know we love techniques. I know we love strategies. But this is just life to me as we go. These are the deeper principles that just get me fired up as you go. Setbacks are inevitable for me. When I started out, I created a sub-company, and I had huge, huge setbacks. But I know that losers are always going to create their alibi. So ask yourself, are you creating your alibi? Why to tell mommy, daddy, brother, sister, kids, everyone else, friends, why you lost? Or are you creating your success story in your mind on why you won? Again, it goes back to what is your focus as you go. So another success principle is the highs will always be higher than you ever imagined, but the lows will be lower than you ever imagined. I've never heard anybody tell me that's wildly successful, that didn't get lucky, truly successful, that said, oh, that was way easier than I thought. I just can't believe that. I mean, go ask anyone. Ask any great athlete, musician, anyone in network marketing. They're going to be like, whoa, that was much harder than I thought it was going to be. You can do this. It is worth it. You've got to know those two things as you're going throughout. And at the beginning, I know it's going to be work, 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 work. Get paid, right? And then it's work, 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 get paid, and then it's work, 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 get paid, get paid, get paid, get paid. And then it's work, work, get paid, get paid, get paid, get paid. And then it's work, get paid, get paid, get paid, get paid. And then it's, I'm in my underwear. Do I want to work? Get paid, get paid, get paid, get paid, get paid, get paid, right? And you're just like, if they only saw, I'm in my underwear when I'm doing this Facebook Live right now. But it's work at the beginning. It can be the most underpaid business in the beginning, but the most overpaid business in the end. But you got to have that perspective. So these are some of the family trips. The thing I'm the most proud of, I did 7 family trips last year. That's what I care about. That's what I care about. That's what matters. Those are the memories. That's in Santorini. Wife wanted to go to Santorini. You guys can tell I'm a good closer, right? Like, look at her. Some of you have seen the movie, Beauty and the Beast, right? She's next level right there. We got married quickly, and I'm like, we got to have kids. We got to have more kids. We got to have more kids. I just kept sealing the deal. So there was a cruise that we did. Tons of fun. Couple pictures. That was in Kauai. Looks like we're going to fall off a cliff there. Or not. You got to decide, and only you. I'm going to go to the social media second, but I just want real quickly, I want you to decide, who are you? Where are you right now? What are you willing to do to go to that next level? And be honest with yourself. It's going to do no good to say you're going to be a conqueror if you're not. Literally. Goes back to the bank accounts, right? That's going to be a withdrawal of trust. So maybe you're a victim, you're going to transition to a survivor. How are you going to do that? What are you going to do? Okay, the IPAs. Okay, great. What's your minimums? What are you going to do on a daily basis and on a weekly basis? No matter what, when you don't feel like it, when you're sick, when you're tired, and you're exhausted and you're burnt out, what are you willing to do no matter what? Because I'll tell you, if you go interview all these leaders right now, and they'll tell you that there were many times they didn't feel like it, but they just did it anyways. And most of them will tell you they didn't have a great system or they didn't pay attention to it. They took massive action anyways, despite not knowing everything. It's a commonality as you go. So we'll go to the next presentation. I just want to give you guys some social media ideas. I want you to decide who are you and what are you willing to do as we go throughout this. This is my family. I almost said current family. That sounds weird. Well, because I showed you my, siblings and stuff. But I know I live in Utah, but I do not practice polygamy. Just FYI, okay? This is my immediate family. Thank you. I'm still learning. Okay, so my son, 14. My daughter turns 12 Wednesday. Feisty 8-year-old. And then the 5-year-old. And I don't, anybody has a lot of kids, you get to the last kid, just he just gets away with everything. I mean, we try. We're just tired. You guys used to discipline us so much. We're tired. Help us, please. We could never eat food everywhere. We're like, come on. Someday you'll understand. So if you've been to Utah, you'll understand this next picture. If you haven't, you may not. I mean, if you've been to and I love Utah. I've been all over the world, love living there. My favorite places. But you'll understand, I have 4 kids. People are like, why do you only have 4 kids? I'm like, what? What? I had 2. I started network marketing. They taught me about duplication, so I went for 2 more. Blame it on you guys. And then I decided my comp plan was maxed out, 4 and no more. So we're going to go through a bunch of these things on social media. I know I just skipped one. It's a lot of different factors. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, maximum, I would say 3 times a day post on your personal profile. That does not include groups or anything like that. More and more, Facebook wants quality over quantity. They want to stay relevant. Quality over quantity as we do it. Never post a link. If you're going to post a link, put it in the comments because they don't want to take you off Facebook. So simple stuff as we start out in the basics of this. I talk about this. Basically, my goal is to help you increase your likability, your credibility, your recallability, because who cares how likable and credible you are if nobody thinks of you or has any awareness, and then ultimately a lot of profitability, which sometimes it's just a connection. Other times it is profits. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, when I say likability, I don't mean in a fake way at all, and I'll show you some of these posts as we go through these. So as you start posting every single day, you're going to start figuring out a little bit. Alex talked about this. You start figuring out your brand. You start figuring out your niche, right? I do say niches to riches because it rhymes. I know it's niche, trust me. But niches to riches rhymes. So we go with that. You'll start figuring that out of what it is. So that's some of the basics. I know, I'm sorry I'm going really fast on this stuff because I want to get to the meat of this content for all of you. Too many of you are trying to just figure out, what's the perfect thing to post? And I'll give you examples. I'll show you here in a second. The best way I learn is just by being consistent. I cringe at a lot of my old posts, which you'll see here in just a second, okay? So we'll show you some of these. This is, this time I'd made millions of dollars. I had business in over 40 countries, and I've got 1 comment. I mean, was that my mom or my mother-in-law? You would think your organization, your team would at least just give a courtesy comment, but I was bad, right? I'd made a lot of money, but I didn't understand how to transition that. Then the next one, 4 comments. Then I had 11 comments as we go, right? So it's all relative to where you're at. I mean, some of you may be like, I'd love to have 11 comments. But at this point, I had been building for a long time. So that wasn't a ton. So I'll give you some of these strategies. But what I do is I have notes in my phone. And anytime I think of anything, anytime I hear of anything at all, I just put it in my phone. So literally, if you came to me and said, let me see, Rob, and I showed you, you'd see 100 posts ready to go. Now, of course, that's over the course of 5 years of any thought that comes to my mind. So at the beginning, what am I going to post? I'm not sure. How do I post every single day? Now it's become much easier because I've been consistent at doing this. So we'll give you some ideas. So humor is the first one. It's one of the easiest ways to connect with people. If anybody's had the Brookside dark chocolate, you know. I've never gotten into drugs, but I can't imagine them being more addictive than these. 96 comments, 312 people. Now understand, right, I've also built an audience. So the same post isn't always going to have the same reaction for everybody, because if you haven't been posting for a year and you make one post, you can't expect that. Here's another one that I think is really important for the people that are, the backstabbers, the people that talk behind your back. So if people are talking behind your back, then just fart. So if it's not you or your brain, you're like, I'd never say that, then don't say it. You just be you. Stop worrying about trying to be perfect. This one's still painful. Hey, babe, let's go to Victoria's Secret for date night. We're going to Costco. It's date night. Like, you don't go to Costco for date night. But those of you who've been married for a while understand that. And yeah, it's just part of relatable posts, right? You got to be real. Stop trying to just be perfect. You can turn it into a positive or something insightful or funny. I'm doing a Facebook Live. I come off the Facebook Live, perfectly clean house. And my son tells me that he's been in ninja training. So ninja training, we taught him later, is also cleaning up, which he disagreed with. But 121 comments, right? Again, I'm connecting. It's not called face spam. It's called Facebook, right? It's not called Insta spam. It's called Instagram. So our goal is to connect genuinely with people as we go. So I think, so fun. If you do something fun, this is at Whit Sundays in Australia. This is at Social Media Summit when I did that with Eric Warren and a bunch of other social media influencers. So I'm just sharing something fun. People are on social media because they're bored, and I'm looking first to just make a genuine connection. The people that don't like my stuff, great. Unfollow me, block me. I used to care. Now I don't, because your vibe attracts your tribe. You want that. Again, if you're in no man's land right in the middle, no one knows what you stand for. No one knows who you are. You got to be who you are and stand out as you go. So positive posts. I put a family picture, and then I put the things I care about. I want people to know me. Some people are like, oh, I hate that. Some people are like, I love it. Greatest compliment I can receive in network marketing was never when someone edified me with my pin rake money earned or any accomplishments like that. Although I know it is very important to edify, it was and is when someone introduced me as a family man, great friend, or the most honest person they know. That is true success, right? You're building, just show people who you are. People like you for you. And those that don't, that are annoyed, well, friends and family typically don't start celebrating you until strangers do. It's just a reality. Friends and family don't typically start celebrating you until strangers do. Fill in the blank. Again, these are just simple ways to create engagement. Why is this important? Because I want visibility. I want people to get to know me. Now, people misinterpret attraction marketing. I'm going to make all these really good posts, and my messenger's just going to be flooded, and I'm going to have so many people, and business is going to be booming. Right? Maybe at some point you get to that person where you're a huge influencer and you're investing a lot. But I'm looking at this more of, I'm bridging that gap of likability, credibility, trust. I want them to be able to consistently see. So when I do reach out to them, maybe instead of closing 1 out of 10, maybe 2 out of 10 say yes. It's not a lot, but I doubled my numbers. So too many people get on the scroll patrol on social media, and it's 2 hours later like, where is the time gone, right? And then they haven't been doing any income-producing activities. That's why I started with the IPAs first. That's discouraging that you guys are laughing. I was really hoping that you would be the ones that would just feel like this works. But remember this? This was showing 9 or 10 years ago, their photo, and now. So I said, okay, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to stand out a little bit more. I'm going to capitalize on trends. Just happen to be, we're wearing the same shirt almost, which is almost even more discouraging because I'm like 9 years behind the times, obviously. But that's okay. I had fun. Did I know it was going to get 1,100 likes on social media? No. You just don't know. But again, I'm being consistent. Expert tips. So don't be the person that just shares stuff. If you're going to share your personal insight. So let's say you like a post like this. Great. You can share it, but share your personal insights. Or you can copy and paste, put it at the end, say credit to whoever said it, but above it, give your insight so you can be the shared expert, right? Or the shared report or something like, but I'm not an expert. That's okay. What's your insights on this? Share it. So now people are also getting to know you as well as you do this. Caption this post is another one that you can utilize. These are just simple ways. But again, none of this stuff works unless you're doing the income-producing activities. And so you got to figure out what your strategy is. Some of you are more direct as far as business goes. That's okay. Just don't become, spammy-pammy, right? That you're just spamming everybody. Some of you are a lot bigger on curiosity. So you're doing 4 posts that are just letting people get to know you, 2 posts that are curiosity, and then 1 post a week that's a little bit more of, hey, this is what I do, in a way that's providing value as you're going. And we'll show you that here in just a second after this. The list post, great way for people to get to know you. Again, people like to interact. They like to put themselves in the story. Ask engaging questions. Again, if your audience isn't network marketers and you're trying to attract people that aren't network marketing, don't say who is your favorite speaker in network marketing. Who's your favorite motivational speaker? Who's your favorite whatever? What's your favorite movie of all time? What's the best book you read in 2018? You figure out what it is. These are simple things. So we'll go to product testimonials. Sorry, I'm going fast. Curiosity, I said be less salesy. Okay, so I'm going to show you examples right here. See that mom in this picture? She's actually smiling and playing with her kids. Just a few months ago, I would have been way too tired and mentally exhausted to have an impromptu dance party. But I finally found something that fills in the gaps and gives me endless energy and a healthy dose of patience. So you see how it's creating curiosity. So then the update, 6-week update. If you have anybody that's new starting, people love sharing the journey. So it could be like, hey, I'm going to start these products. I'll keep you posted how they work. My goal is if it's losing weight, or if you have skincare goals, or if you have hair care goals, or if you have service-based goals, all different types of companies. Just share your journey and be real as you're going about it. So since Addison's been preschool, all I've ever wanted to do is be able to come to her little school's parties, but was never able to do so. And it goes on and on. Again, it's sharing a story. It's value as you go. Memes or gifts, you see something that's funny, again, it relates with you, right? I mean, he's giving compelling reasons to date him. No one will try to steal me from you. Sometimes I'm funny. And he's got his MERS. That's pretty cool. MERSes are in right now. Selfie contest, we're not going to go into that right now. Polls are a great way. In groups, you can do multiple options. On your personal, you can only do 2. So you can do 2 options. I did one 2 months ago to see the Avengers, and I said, hey, who's over it and who's really excited to see it? And you had 65%, oh, I'm so excited. People commenting, the other 35%, I can't stand these movies anymore, I'm done. Everybody's just different, but I'm putting themselves in it. So you want to figure out your voice and your brand. It goes back to what I said, is be consistent. Just go through your last 30 posts you've been consistent. Analyze the last 5. Say, what are the commonalities of what people love? That way you don't have to become a different version, a fake version of you. What do people resonate with me? Find the 5 that people least like, right? And then you're getting insights to your audience. Your audience is telling you what they like and dislike as you go. So in closing, for all of you, I wish we had time for Q&A and different things. I know there's so many different questions. Today's been phenomenal. What I said at the beginning, don't be the person that's got all this information that does nothing. So I'm always big, I teach this in my masterminds, I always teach this in my trainings. You've got to have a separate piece of paper that has your executables. And then you've got to prioritize and reprioritize those executables. Of what are you going to do first? Because I know what's going to happen. You're going to get home, you're all fired up, and all of a sudden it's like, where do I start? Right? Where do I start? And I want to empower you to stop being just a needer and a wanter, and I want you to become deservers. And I want to empower you to stop being a victim and survivor and stop doing the fake work, right? Tough love. We've all been there. Even the top leaders will tell you they go in and out of it. They just do it a lot less. I did it. We all do it. And to become the conquerors of your business. Because time is the most valuable thing you and I have on this earth. The most valuable thing. It's whatever that time represents for you. You can do this. You can do this. and it's 100% worth it. I promise you. If you only knew what us leaders know of how worth it is, you would do whatever it takes. You would stop talking, right? And you do what Ralph Waldo Emerson, his quote is one of the best quotes of all time. What you do speaks so loudly, I cannot hear what you say. So thank you all for investing in yourselves, for making the time to come out here. Let's stand up more so that you guys can all just wake up, right? We're going to have another legend right here. Tim come up here, which I think he got bicep implants just like James. When you see him up there, you'll see him through the shirt. So let's make sure we got the energy to finish off today. Thanks, Ariana. Appreciate you guys.